Hello, this is Discovering Korea DK. Today, we would like to explore the culture of funerals in Korea, along with the methods and precautions to consider when visiting. Unless under special circumstances in modern Korea, funerals usually last for 3 days, including the day of the deceased's passing. However, in cases where the deceased passed away late at night, around 10-11 p.m., or if the death occurred suddenly without any prior preparations by the family, it's common to consider the day after the passing as the first day of the funeral. The moment when tears start to flow amidst the lively and bustling atmosphere of the funeral hall often occurs during the second day's afternoon when paying respects. This moment signifies the last opportunity to see the face of the deceased. Condolences are primarily offered on the first and second days. Since only close relatives and intimate friends, usually those with a close friendship, attend the paying of respects, it's not necessary for general visitors to participate beyond this point. If you plan to offer condolences at the funeral, it's advisable to choose a time that is neither too early nor too late. Arriving too early often means encountering unpreparedness, while arriving too late may not provide enough time for the bereaved family members to rest. Typically, family and relatives offer condolences on the first day, while acquaintances and friends tend to visit on the second day. Since the third day is the day of burial, it's best to visit on the first or second day whenever possible. The appropriate attire for a funeral is preferably black or white, and skirts should be avoided if possible. If wearing a skirt is necessary, it's best to avoid short lengths and wear black stockings or leggings underneath to minimize exposed skin. Avoid wearing bright colors. If a formal suit is not available, opting for a black tie is recommended. While modern Korean society may not strictly adhere to dress etiquette, wearing attire in the black color spectrum is customary. Considering the solemn and serious nature of funerals compared to celebratory events like weddings, it's essential to pay some attention to attire. Simply wearing black or white clothing should convey a sense of respect. Overly flashy accessories should also be avoided. For students, wearing school uniforms is acceptable. However, if you're uncomfortable with the uniform's color, wearing black or white clothing is also suitable. Even if the uniform stands out, as long as it's recognizable as a school uniform, the bereaved family will likely consider it respectful enough for a minor. In recent times, there's been an increase in companies allowing employees to wear casual attire to work. If you're going straight from work, as long as your attire isn't overly conspicuous, there's usually no issue wearing your casual work attire. Typically, casual work attire for men consists of khaki pants and a checked shirt, which is considered appropriate enough. Let me now guide you through the procedures upon arrival at the funeral. Upon arrival at the funeral, sign your name in the guest book and place the condolence offering envelope in the designated box. If you haven't prepared an envelope, there's usually available at the entrance of the funeral where you can write your name. Next, remove your outerwear and hat before meeting the family. Bow to the family and then kneel in front of the portrait of the deceased. Offer incense or flowers. Incense is placed in a censer with a flame, held in the right hand while the left hand supports the right, and then lit using a candle before placing it in the censer. It's not appropriate to blow out the flame with your mouth. If incense isn't used, you can place a chrysanthemum flower in front of the portrait instead. If it's a sitting funeral, stand up and bow to the deceased's portrait. The appropriate number of bows is 2.5. For Protestant Christians or individuals with injuries preventing them from bowing with their legs, it's customary to remain silent as a form of respect. Once you've completed the bows, step back from the portrait and greet the family member. The appropriate number of bows is once. You can do this simultaneously with the family member, or slightly before them. Men should have their right hand above, while women should have their left hand above. Offer words of comfort if appropriate. Avoid asking questions related to the deceased. When leaving, take a few steps backward before turning around to exit as a sign of respect. For Protestant funerals, the procedure is similar, but instead of incense, flowers are typically offered. Instead of bowing to the deceased or family members, a short silent prayer or remembrance is offered in front of the deceased's portrait. Even if you're a devout Protestant attending a traditional funeral, offering a silent prayer instead of a bow is acceptable. If you're attending your first funeral and are unsure, it's okay to be honest and ask. Despite being busy, the family will appreciate your presence at the funeral, so the family members are unlikely to nitpick minor mistakes. Afterward, follow the guidance of the family or their representatives for the meal and departure. In the past, individuals helped out according to their relationships, but nowadays, most funerals are handled by professional companies, so there's no need for such assistance. Finally, when drinking at the post-funeral gathering, never make a toast. As the funeral is one of the saddest and most solemn occasions in a person's life, Many worry about feeling out of place or making mistakes. However, just like any human event, a funeral is ultimately about people. While it's not a funeral etiquette, it's a good idea to include your affiliation or relationship with the deceased or their family in the condolence envelope if possible. Today we explored about funeral culture and etiquettes in Korea. If this was helpful, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video.